Welcome to the Tektronix Soldering How-To video intro. This video is meant to provide you a quick guide for soldering test measurement probe tips. Remember, it is important to make good soldering connections to get the best results. And always approach soldering with ESD precautions in mind. Along with the device and probe, there are a few other things to collect before we begin soldering. For difficult connections, it might help to use tweezers or to prep the solder joint with a rosin flux pen before soldering with rosin core solder. Also, using a fine-tip soldering iron will allow for better accuracy. This is ideal for low-profile, high-speed measurement tips. If available, a lighted magnifying glass or microscope might also be helpful. All these considerations influence the selecting of the correct probe tip. The best way to be successful with soldering is to plan ahead. This will prevent frustrating rework. To make reliable and reproducible measurements, consider the bandwidth needs of your measurement. Soldering lead lengths are dependent on the frequency requirements. Shorter wires yield better signal fidelity, but it becomes impossible to attach the probe to the device if the wires are too short. Knowing the spacing of the connection on the device and if multiple probe tips will be needed will help plan your approach. Tektronix provides many probe tip accessories to meet the needs of most every application. After gathering all the required materials and going over some considerations, you are ready to solder your device. It is recommended that once the soldering is complete, to secure the solder tip to the board using low static Kapton tape or 3M VHB tape. Securing the tip to the device can help prevent potentially damaging mechanical stress on the solder joint. Place the probe in such a way that it can be easily attached to the device. As you can see, the connections don't need much solder to be securely attached. Extra solder can negatively impact your signal. Now I am quickly applying the iron to the small solder points. Soldering is about specific application of heat, so don't overexpose the device and probe tips to the soldering iron. Every connection is important to signal integrity. If difficulties persist, step back and reevaluate your approach. With these considerations taken, soldering can be a very manageable task. With practice and patience, soldering low-profile solder tips can guarantee reliable measurements for your device under test. For duplication and reusability, removing the probe tips is even easier. Tweezers help for removing the leads one at a time. After doing so, you can move the tips to a new location. Please refer to Tektronix.com for more videos for specific how-tos of our performance probing accessories.